refused to move my wedding date because my sister is pregnant. This story first came September 14th, 2024. So I'm in a bit of a weird situation. My fiance and I aren't the most traditional and wanted to have our wedding as more of a family vacation with the bonus of a wedding. My parents have a beautiful lakefront house that we decided to have our wedding at. When we were initially planning our wedding and figuring out ideas, I wanted to have it on June 26th. The 26th was important to us because that's the day my fiance and I first met, but when speaking it over to my family, my sister said no because she already had a vacation on that date. I was sad, but it wasn't the end of the world, so we decided on June 4th to June 9th. Completely irrelevant, but a lakefront cottage wedding. The dream. One of my best friends got married at her family cottage on the water and outside. It was a dream. Anyways, everything was working out perfectly. I let both of our families know to put our wedding down for that date and started wedding planning. It was all perfect until last night. I got a FaceTime from my dad who showed me the ultrasound and I was super excited. All of the congratulations, jumping around because I'm going to be an auntie. I'm so excited for them and for my future niece or nephew. But it all came crashing down when I asked my sister when she was due, and she said, May 1st, so we're going to have to talk about your wedding. I assumed she just meant that she wasn't going to be able to be in attendance. So I told them that it's okay, we can just FaceTime them in, and her jaw dropped. Then my mom said we can just push the wedding back until September. I knew my emotions would get the best of me, so I said we can talk about it later, so we went back to the congratulations and thinking of baby names. After the call, I can't lie, I had a bit of a breakdown. I already moved my dates once to accommodate my sister, which was all fine, and I didn't push back on it. But after 7 months of planning our wedding around this date and having my fiance's family plan around it, I don't want to change it. Unfortunately, I know my family and they will push for me to move it and will disrespect my decision not to. I know traveling with a newborn baby is going to be hard, which is why I offered up to FaceTime her in, but it seems like that's offensive to them to not want my sister to be present at the wedding. I feel so insanely guilty about being upset over having to change my wedding dates because my sister is pregnant. She's bringing a beautiful new family member into our lives, but I'm still a bit heartbroken that if I don't change the whole wedding date, that I will be seen as inconsiderate and an a-hole in my family. So, am I the a-hole for not wanting to push back my wedding because my sister is pregnant? I want to know your guys' opinions on this. A lot of you in the comments have written that you're married. If your sister got pregnant, are you changing your entire wedding date? Like, to me, it's like, how do you possibly change all that because your sister decided to start a family, right? Surely not. I feel like changing the wedding date, I understand just for the family, but everything you have planned, whether that's like vendors, the food, you're changing more than just a trip. There's a lot that goes into a wedding and the planning of it. I don't know, that just seems so bizarre to me. I would never expect my own sister to change her wedding date because I'm pregnant or having a baby. Okay, I don't know. Let's check out some of the top comments so far. Let's see what other people are saying. Someone wrote, "You are not the a-hole. I'd move it back to the 26th because that's the day that matters to you and your fiance. Now she'll only want to go if she can bring the baby, or she'll probably try and get you to move it even further, saying so she's not traveling with a newborn. Obviously, people are going to be upset no matter what you do or don't do, but all that really matters is you and your fiance because the moment y'all are married, you're each other's main priorities and no one else should matter when it comes to what you both want." OOP responded, "I'm very scared of that since she is going to be a first-time mama. We don't know if she's going to have PPD or PPA or if the baby is going to have colic. I'm scared that if I push back our wedding to August or September and then she still can't make it or wants us to push it back even further, I will resent or distance myself from her. I love my sister so much, but she definitely is the type of person where it is her way or the highway and my parents just go with it because that's just how she is." Someone else commented saying, "Tell us your sister is the golden child," without saying it. I'm definitely not the golden child in my family. Honestly, none of us are. We're all wonderful people, but there isn't really a golden child. There's no one who got away with anything over the other. I always tell my mom has a favorite. For sure. And I always joke with her about it. I'm like, Mom, I know who your favorite daughter is. It's not me. And I know who it is. And she's like, stop it. That's not true. And we're all like, yeah, she's got a favorite. Parents out there, tell me, is it true? You have favorites. I was an ECE and everyone's like, teachers don't have favorites. I had favorites. I had my favorite students. You have a different bond, you know? OOP responded to the golden child comment saying, my sister is the golden child of the family. It's not really a secret or tried to be hidden. She's extremely involved in the family. She visits them every weekend, while I live across the country, so I only visit them typically once a year, but I FaceTime them regularly. My parents are also very money driven, and my sister is a doctor in comparison to my brother and I, who do trades. She is the definition of the perfect child. She also typically plans all trips, vacations, and outings for my family because she's extremely type A and likes to have control over situations. She's a bit stubborn and likes things her way or not at all. We've always just gone with it because it's easier. I expected my wedding to be the line, but I guess not. Next comment, not the a-hole. Remind the family that it's not just your family that's being impacted by their push to move the dates, and that those specific dates are the only ones that work for both sides. Then tell them no, you will not move the dates to accommodate your sister again since you already did it once. OOP wrote back, I plan on speaking to them soon about it and putting my foot down on my date. I wanted to give it some time to let my emotions settle because my parents did just find out they're going to be grandparents for the first time and seem to want to protect her and side with her. I also spoke to my brother about it and he is on my side. I asked him to be there during the conversation to try and explain things from my point of view if my emotions do get the best of me. Moving my wedding to September is out of the question because it won't work for my fiance's family with school schedules, and they've already been planning around the current date. Exactly. We do have some updates though. And the first one came September 22nd, 8 days later. The confrontation must have happened. Let's find out. So a lot has happened in the past few days. I called my brother the day after I made my post. He understood where I was coming from and told me that I should absolutely not change my wedding date. So since I was worried about speaking to my mom and being ganged up on, we planned on when to speak to my mom about not wanting to change my fiance and I's wedding dates so that he could be there to talk to my mom on my behalf in case my emotions got the best of me. That didn't happen. My mom called me the next day to talk it over. I informed her that I was not going to change my wedding date and she was upset initially, but surprisingly receptive to it. I was extremely happy about that until she said, you need to talk to your sister about this because she's not going to be happy about being forced out 1 month postpartum. I explained I wasn't expecting or forcing her to be in attendance. Then my mom said, no, she's coming to your wedding. I don't care if she's a new mom. Okay, so sounds like you're forcing her then, because I'm not saying she has to be there. After that, I got into a bit of an argument with my mom about her forcing my sister to do something that isn't the best for her or her future family. I ended up hanging up on her. I don't take being spoken to in a harsh tone easily and will tell the other person to take a minute to reevaluate their tone and then come back. During the call, she also let it slip that she was also extremely disappointed in me for going to my brother for support instead of her, and said that I was just creating family drama for no reason. Which it is. I needed a family perspective, which is why I called my brother. I ended up trying to call my sister the next day, which was declined. So I texted her and I informed her that I would not be changing my wedding dates. It was a lot longer of a text that explains my reasoning and emotions. She replied a day later with, quote, you and I both know that your wedding dates aren't officially set, and the only factor would be communicating the change to your fiance's family. I hope the hassle is worth having my and your literal niece or nephew's presence. Like, see, to me, it just comes off so manipulative and gaslighting. I don't like this at all. I would never do this to anybody. And I have sisters. I explained that I've already ordered, put money down on multiple things, as well as having my fiance's family planning and accommodating around this date for 7 months. She was not receptive, in my opinion, and said, there are really no excuses. You have the power to move the date even just a little later in the summer to include me, and you're choosing not to, and that hurts. I ended up responding and saying that I'm not choosing to not have her at my wedding, but understand she may not be able to come and will have to be FaceTimed in instead. As well as explained that I already moved my wedding date once to accommodate her. I asked her to try to put herself in my shoes and how she would have felt if I asked her to push her wedding back. She replied, I would have moved my date in a heartbeat. That is the difference between us. Yeah, for some reason I'm not believing that. But I don't know her. I don't know her. At that point, I decided to offer up pushing it back to the 26th of June, as some comments said, to see if she would still be going to her previously planned vacation now that she's pregnant or having a newborn. Which thank God I did, because she told me she couldn't do the 26th as she is still going on her vacation, which is 20 days after my wedding. Okay, so make it make sense. How can she go on a trip 20 days after your wedding, but she's saying she can't be there on your wedding? 20 days. 20 days difference. Maybe some moms out there in the comment section will say 20 days difference in the newborn phase really does make a difference. So let's hear it. This is just interesting. 20 days. Does that make that big of a difference? I'm not the most knowledgeable about babies since I don't have one and have only known my best friend's baby, but I don't feel like there's a huge difference between traveling with a 1-month-old and a 1.5-month-old. So that solidified in my mind that she doesn't care about me or my fiance or our feelings, but still expects everyone to accommodate her. At this point, as per my fiance's advice, I'm putting it in the effort drawer in my head, and I'm not going to stress about it anymore because everyone knows the date is set. If my family would like to show up to my wedding, that would be amazing. But if not, I'm not going to be upset. At the end of the day, this will just show me who to prioritize as family in my life, because family is not always blood. That's where we're at. Let's see what people are saying now. Someone commented, good for you. As you said, this isn't about your wedding date or about her attendance. It's about your important date being so near her due date, and she's upset that her baby won't be the center of attention. Even if she brings a baby to your wedding, everyone will remember that baby met people at the wedding instead of coming to her home where she could hold court as new mommy. Oh, I didn't really think of that perspective, to be honest. The OOP responded saying, funny enough, her mother-in-law will be attending my wedding. It's an extremely short list, just family and their significant others, then my aunt and uncle, and my sister's mother-in-law and her brother-in-law, because my fiance and I bonded with them at my sister's wedding. I understand it's not exactly the same because she doesn't know them, but my fiance's family loves babies and have tried to be a foster family in the past. And my soon-to-be mother-in-law was a nanny for a living for 10 plus years. So it's not like she won't be celebrated as a new mom or have extra help if she wants it. She will have everything if she wants to attend, but is choosing to push back because I assume it's not to her perfect plan. Someone also commented saying, you have a good brother. And she wrote, I really do. He's always been very understanding of issues and helps me see different perspectives. I know I can always go to him if I'm going through something or need advice. Likewise, my brother is so much younger than me and the rest of my siblings. He just turned 25 and I'm 33 and I'm the youngest sister. So that is the smallest age gap for him. And he's anyways, we have some updates, but let's hydrate first. Grab your beverage of choice, but drink some water today. Cheers. All right, so the next update came October 2nd, which is 10 days later. So this update is absolutely comical to me. As I said in my previous update, I stood strong and I told my family I was planning on keeping the wedding date, which didn't go well, but at least I had my parents' support on it. Everything was as calm and relaxed as it could be. My sister hasn't talked to me since the conversation, but I figured she was just pissed off at me and dealing with everything that is involving pregnancy. But getting to the hilarious part of this update, 2 days ago, we got a FaceTime from my fiance's sister-in-law showing us 2 positive pregnancy tests. Y'all, damn. everybody is just pumping it up. They are wanting these babies. She is due the first week of June, aka when our wedding is. My fiance and I did all of the congratulations and excitement because once again, the first grandchild and baby in the family. After the call, my fiance and I just looked at each other and busted out laughing. Not only is my sister having the first grandbaby on my side, but his sister-in-law is having the first grandbaby on his side, all within the month before and during our wedding. Like, what are the chances? My fiance and I have always had bad luck with planning things, aka why we're planning on a relaxed, chill wedding instead of a big, extravagant wedding. We had a few minutes of a convo and it ended up with us agreeing on, in my fiance's words, F this, let's just elope. So that's exactly what we're doing. Like I said, we aren't traditional, and honestly, we were just doing all of this for our families so that they could feel included and have a fun time at the lake house. But with all the babies and 9 out of the 14 people who are invited not being able to attend, my sister and brother-in-law, her mother-in-law and brother-in-law, my fiance's mom, dad, and little sister, and his brother and sister-in-law, why even have the whole wedding thing? So we're going to the courthouse on June 26th, the date that I originally wanted but wouldn't work with my sister's scheduled vacation to go get married. We're going to keep the photographer that we had a deposit down on and just switch from wedding photos to just a couple's shoot. We're also still planning on going to the lake house and just taking it as our pre-honeymoon. We've already let all our family know the whole wedding thing is canceled. My side is relieved and his side is sad because they don't have an opportunity to celebrate us as a couple. But it just wasn't what the universe wanted, and we'll plan something in the next couple of years to get our families together and celebrate. Maybe one of our anniversaries. Honestly, I can't even be upset because it's so comical that one major event we've been planning on doesn't work because of everyone getting pregnant and being due around or during our wedding. But at the end of the day, we're getting married and getting some adorable little nieces or nephews. The story doesn't end there though. We have some more comments and another update, which I'm curious about. I want to know how this all unfolded. So someone commented after that last update and said, I get why his brother-in-law and sister-in-law can't attend, but why can't the rest of your fiance's family members attend? Anyways, congrats. I told my boyfriend I'm always down to elope because a big wedding is more trouble than it's worth for me personally. OOP responded, I thought we were getting rid of the big family wedding drama by just having our direct family plus 4 extras there, but it didn't work out that way. Still all the drama, so eloping is definitely the right option. The people that can't attend would be my sister and her husband because they're having a baby in May. It's their first child and it would be a 5-hour drive to get out to the lake house. My sister's mother-in-law and brother-in-law, my fiance and I got close to them on my sister's wedding trip. It was a week-long trip in Jamaica. Then my soon-to-be brother-in-law and sister-in-law, since they're having a baby during our used-to-be wedding dates. And then his mom, dad, and sister, because they would definitely want to at least be close to brother-in-law and sister-in-law while she's having the first grandbaby. The lake house is about a 19-hour drive from where they live. Perfect. I'll be right back. Sorry about that rude interruption of a false fire alarm going off. Let's check out the next comment. Have a gathering at the lake house when both kids turn 1 year old. Oh, that's a cute idea. OP responded, that is what we're thinking. Obviously, we learned our lesson about planning stuff out in advance, but I think a combined 1 year anniversary and 2 1-year-olds' birthdays celebration would be adorable. And then everyone would be happy, including sister. Now we have the official final update, which came 11 months later, so almost a year, and it was very recently, September 10th, 2025. Never thought I would make another update to this post, let alone almost exactly a year later, but my sister is doing it again, but with her brother-in-law. Just a quick recap of the past. My now husband and I had an amazing little courthouse wedding, then celebrated with margaritas and pizza at home. It was perfect for us. We also now have an adorable niece and nephew who we love so much. Now on to the update to this story. So here are the fake names, all right? Here's the cast. Sister is Jane, brother-in-law, Scott, so sister's husband. Sister's brother-in-law is Zach, who is Scott's brother, and Zach's fiance, Jess. So let's say angry sister who was mad in the original story, her brother-in-law and sister-in-law are Zach and Jess. Does that make sense? It's making sense to me. My sister's brother-in-law, Zach, and his girlfriend, Jess, got engaged late last year and are planning their wedding now. They are planning for a destination wedding in France. We are in the States for just close family, then a wedding locally for extended family and friends. My sister texted me and said, just a question for you, being I know you're familiar with wedding drama, and explained that she doesn't want Scott, my brother-in-law, to go to France for her brother's wedding because then she would have to miss out on the trip they take every year. Yes, the same one she made me change the dates for before we ended up just canceling our wedding altogether, saying that they would both be so sad for him to be missing out on their baby's first trip together out there, and asking if it would be bad if he didn't go to France. My sister and niece wouldn't be flying to France either way, but the issue is if she wants Scott, her husband, to stay behind too. I asked what Zach and Jess said about it because if they're okay with it, then there shouldn't be an issue. Obviously, Zach said he would be very disappointed and upset if Scott decided not to come, which I totally understand. They are once again choosing a trip over someone who's supposed to be important to them. I told her basically, Zach is only going to have one intimate family wedding and they can't go on their trip every year going forward. All she responded with was, weddings suck. Honestly, my question is, was I too nice? Because I feel like she didn't get the point. If so, what the heck do I say? Girl, I wouldn't even bother with her anymore. I wouldn't. I'd be like, you're gonna do what you're gonna do at this point. Your priorities don't match mine. Do what you gotta do. I honestly would, at this point, my patience would be gone. But let me know your guys' thoughts on the story. Stay classy out there, stay sassy, and I'll see you tomorrow.